say there's no time like the present, so I guess we're going to get started on this whole thing, and I'm going to sit there, maybe give you guys a little bit of info about who I am, where I'm coming from, and I guess there's a good one. Who I am, where I'm coming from, and as the case may be, where we're going. So, as I mentioned, my name's Brian, and about a year ago, well, a little bit longer than that, about 2 years ago, I started thinking about it. A little bit over a year ago, I pulled the trigger, bought Serenity here, my 2020 Ram ProMaster, and begun converting this van into my home. Yeah, full-time, by choice. Didn't have to or anything like that. So for those of you who don't understand van life, don't think I'm destitute. Point being is I felt the pull to get out here and see the world. You know, so many people work their 9 to 5 until they can't anymore, and then they see that as their time to go out and travel and whatnot. Versus, you know, working that 9 to 5 to save up for that white picket fence and, you know, 2-point-something cars in the driveway and whatnot. I decided to go ahead and start exploring now. Now, as the title of the channel says, part-time drifter. I still got that 9 to 5. So Monday through Friday, I actually work IT for a company in Longview, Texas. And on as many weekends as I can for now, I hit the road and go check stuff out. Standard weekend, that gives me like a 6-hour drive window. And, you know, I can get out, go check out a place, turn around and get back. So yeah, this weekend in particular, I'm driving down to a private ranch just outside of Fredericksburg, Texas, where we're going to be setting up to camp this weekend for the April 8th Eclipse on Monday. So yeah, that's going to be a good one. Granted, it's Friday afternoon, so we got some time for adventures between here and there. In particular, right now, I just booked out of work early and have hit the road, and we're going to make our way to Waco, Texas. In particular with Waco, why Waco? For the most part, it's about the halfway point of the drive, and I don't have to do it all at once and drive down some dark ranch roads to GPS coordinates late at night by the time I get to where I'm heading. Another reason is, you know, I like to check out as many places as I can on these weekends, especially when I have a long weekend like this one is. So we're actually heading into Waco, Texas. We're going to check out the Balcones Distillery. For some of you whiskey snobs, you've surely heard about it. For some of you folks who just like a good stiff drink now and again, Balcones is one of those bottles that you see, but you've probably never bought before. Truth be told, I've never bought it before. I've had it though. It's good stuff, and that's why I'm excited to go check it out. So we're going to go check out Balcones. We're going to get on the road, enjoy some travel, and probably check out downtown Waco, Texas. Might do the Dr. Pepper Museum, might not. I, in fact, did not. I'll just have to wait till next trip. We've also got a provision up for the camping and whatnot. And yeah, get some van life adventures in, a little bit more of an urban setting before we hit the wild campsites. Wild campsites? Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not even going to cut that. So you guys just get used to my rambling. Because that's probably what it's going to be for a while until I get used to the camera. You know, they say that there's only one way to do that, and that's to do this. So here we are. But yeah, let's take a break for a moment, continue on down the road towards Waco, and see what we can discover. Travel is more than just a journey from point A to point B. It's about the moments in between. The freedom of the open road, the thrill of discovering new places, and the excitement of not knowing exactly what's around the next bend. It's the essence of exploration, and it's what makes every trip memorable. As we roll along Texas Highway 31, we're following a road that's seen countless travelers, from early settlers to modern road trippers. Paved in the 1930s, this highway has connected East Texas to Central Texas for decades, serving as a conduit for stories and experiences. Think of the travelers who've taken this route before us, their hopes, their dreams, their adventures. We're sharing in that legacy today. Imagine driving down Highway 31 in its early days, when cars were still a novelty and the idea of road trips was just starting to catch on. This road became a symbol of freedom, a place where families could pack up and head out, exploring the vastness of Texas. It's a route that has seen countless family vacations, solo adventures, escapes, and everything in between. As we cruise along, we're treated to landscapes that tell their own stories. The piney woods of East Texas give way to the open fields and rolling hills. The scenery changes, but the sense of wonder remains. And it's a reminder that travel isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about the journey itself, the people we meet, and the memories we make along the way. As we get closer to our destination, let's take a moment to appreciate the journey we've been on. The open road has a way of bringing out the best in us, encouraging us to slow down, take in the scenery, and enjoy the ride. It's about finding joy in the simple things, like a breathtaking sunset over the horizon, a field of wildflowers, or just the sound of wind rushing through the trees. So as we near the end of our journey, remember that travel isn't just about the places we go. It's about the stories we collect, the people we meet, and the memories we create. Let's embrace the joy of traveling, for it's not just about reaching a destination, it's about the experiences we gather along the way. So yeah, editing Brian here, and this clip you're about to see, there's a sound. It's kind of disturbing for people who know their way around cars. It's not as bad as you may think, but in my defense, it wasn't nearly as evident when I was driving. Something about the camera picking it up or something. But yeah. Well, welcome back everybody. We just got into Waco proper, and by that I mean we're on probably the worst interstate in the state. Oh, that's not true. When Houston is bad, it's a lot worse than Waco. But Waco's kind of always been just bad. It doesn't make much sense. It's not nearly as big of an area, but for some reason, this interstate is just constantly backed up. And again, it's a Texas interstate, so construction never ends. You know, by the time they get down to one end of it, they turn around and start on the other. But yeah, no, we're getting ready here in just under a mile to pull off, cut through some surface streets, and get to the local H-E-B to get some snacks and provisions for the weekend, as it were. So yeah, I didn't do any filming at H-E-B and no grocery hauls or anything like that. And honestly, I didn't do a great amount of filming at Balcones, but I'm going to attempt to explain myself on that here in just a moment. First and foremost, I did not record nearly enough of my visit to Balcones, and I'm probably going to reiterate this again later, but I cannot wait to go back and correct that. Founded in 2008, Balcones Distillery has become a trailblazer in the American craft whiskey world. They took a daring approach to distilling, and the whiskey world quickly took notice. It all started with Baby Blue, the first Texas whiskey made from blue corn. From there, Balcones didn't just dip their toes into the whiskey scene. They made waves with bold and unique spirits. Texas Single Malt, a literal world champion whiskey, and Brimstone with its distinctive smoked corn twist are just a couple of the innovative creations they've unleashed on us. This distillery's new home in a historic building in part of downtown Waco, Texas, is an architectural gem. providing them with the space to craft spirits and welcome visitors. The tours are simply a must. The staff are not just knowledgeable, they're passionate about sharing their craft. You'll get an engaging behind-the-scenes look at the whiskey-making process, complete with tastings, and a good bit of humor to keep things interesting. After the tour, head to the bar, where the real fun begins. The menu offers a fantastic selection of pours, creative cocktails, and even house-made beers that you won't find anywhere else. My top pick? The Old Fashioned, made with that award-winning Texas single malt. It's smooth, balanced, and a perfect example of what makes Balcones so special. As I sipped my drink, I struck up a conversation with one of the bartenders. It turns out there was a live concert happening in town that night. Being the spontaneous type, or at least trying to pretend to be, I finished my Old Fashioned, downed a couple of waters to cool my jets, and decided to check it out. But not before mentally committing to returning to Balcones for another round of tastings and a deeper dive into their story and their fine establishment. The concert at Indian Spring Park was the kickoff to a big Eclipse weekend in Waco. The evening started with Band of Horses, who got everyone pumped up for the headlining act, Lucas Nelson, the son of Willie. Yes, that Willie. We were in the shadow of the historic Waco Suspension Bridge, which has stood for over a century, and I'm going to have to make it a point to check out this landmark and its history more next time I pass through. The food trucks had everything from street tacos to loaded fries, and all the event staff kept things running super smooth and were friendly and happy to answer questions from the curious out-of-towner. This is a good thing because before I started this channel, I wasn't one to head to big events like this alone. While I didn't exactly strike up a conversation longer than it took to ask directions or to buy a beer, it was still nice to soak up the vibes. The crowd was loving it, the concert was a great way to kick off the Eclipse weekend, and it left a lasting impression on everyone who attended. Granted, I eventually remembered I have a touch of anxiety and I'm not a big fan of large crowds, which led to me making a quick escape to go find food and somewhere to park for the night. And when one is in Texas and looking for food, and they find a place called Billy Bob's Burgers, and a burger called the Cowboy, that actually contains a corn dog, you have to do it. I don't necessarily recommend you do it. As a matter of fact, if you decide, you should bring a friend, but you have to do it. So, on the subject of part-time drifter and urban boondocking, I'm going to be playing by two rules for the time being. And I'm trying to explain now, but I failed to use my microphone properly. Anyway, the first rule, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that Serenity and I never stay anywhere that we are not welcome. And two, I'm not exactly going to be telling you guys where those places are. You see, the sad truth is, there are a lot of members of our community who are making it to where more and more of these locations are being barred from us every single day. And we need to remember that whether it's a local business parking lot, a truck stop, a gas station, or even on the side of the road, staying there is a privilege afforded to us by the business owners and the townspeople of whatever municipality we're staying at. And we need to treat it as such. So for the time being, I'm going to be following the advice of one of my Vanlife mentors, Chrome over at Van City Vanlife. I'm showing up late, I'm leaving early, and I'm keeping all my best spots to myself. So I just got out of Dichotomy Coffee. Hopefully I've got some B-roll shots talking more about them because they were amazing. Staff was really friendly, especially after my issues with the other site. I won't say their name, since I don't think I did earlier, and if I did, I'll go back in time and beep it out. But, yeah, no, it was a very, very pretentious, literal hole in a wall. They weren't open, and don't get me wrong, I get it. Some days you're running behind and whatnot, but on a coffee business, I'm sorry, when you're already opening later than most of your competition, you've got to be ready to go. I sat outside till about 15 minutes after opening, till someone finally came and unlocked the door, and at that point they were more concerned with setting up tables than getting me coffee. So I came over here to Dichotomy Coffee and Spirits, however, and they were amazing. Friendly staff, everyone was glad to be there. They let me be a little bit of a coffee nerd, even though they were way more knowledgeable than me. Great espresso service. Some of you guys who don't know, I kind of geek out about my coffee. And this guy here is a Texas Sun, which I'll have some prettier pictures for you. This is a espresso with tonic blood orange syrup that they make themselves, and lime, I believe. I already told them I want to try to make it myself. But yeah. So, coffee on the way. Still got my cookie. I think we're going to hit the road. So, yeah. I've got one weird little surprise stop before we get to where we're going, and a couple little errands, some stuff folks that are at camp already have requested I stop and grab. So we'll get all those taken care of, get our little surprise visit out of the way, and yeah, we'll be on the road again. Living life on the road is a great experience, even if it's just on the weekends. These moments are special. I get to wake up when I want, though these days I don't usually sleep in all that much. I can take my time getting ready, then find or make some coffee, depending on where I am, and after that, we hit the road for adventure. It might not suit everyone, but having a new landscape outside my front door every day is kind of liberating. There's no routine to lock me down, and I can follow my curiosity wherever it leads. Many of us spend our days stuck in a routine, staring at screens for hours on end. I know this firsthand. I've logged so much time at a keyboard in front of monitors for work that I need blue light blocking reading glasses that I never remember to wear until after I already have a headache. And I can tell you right now that wrist braces are in my future for carpal tunnel. Now, maybe the naysayers are right. Maybe this lifestyle on the road is an overcorrection, and I and others like me will eventually burn out from all the traveling. But I don't think that's the case for everyone. The freedom of waking up to a new view and setting my own pace is too enticing. Besides, I've always been drawn to exploration. Even as a kid, I loved exploring. If I wasn't exploring forests or creek bottoms by foot, or striking out as far as my bike could take me, I was daydreaming about the places I would go one day. When I got my driver's license, I would spend hours driving along highways and back roads, determined to discover every hidden spot I could find. My parents gave me a paper atlas when I was 16, and I cannot count the number of times that thing got me out of a jam. The more I explored, the more I wanted to keep going. And I could probably go on for far too long about those trips. But some of them I want to re-explore with you guys. So we'll hold off for now, and I'll give you the required backstory as we go. In the meantime, do you remember that funny noise I pointed out earlier? Yeah, it's a good thing that traveling is always about the experiences and not always the destinations. Well, we've still got a lot to cover from here, so we're going to split this into two parts. And since this video is getting lengthy, let's go ahead and skip all the usual outro stuff, or at least be quick about it. If you're still here, drop the word tow in the comments below to let me know you made it all the way to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for updates on the next part. You can also catch me on Facebook, Instagram, and at parttimedrifter.com. Thanks for watching, and until next time, drift on, my friends.